up and welcome back to video 2. Now I'm just going to quickly address, yes, I look different now in this video and I will look this way for the rest of the videos because when I first filmed all 5 videos, 4 out of the 5 videos were out of focus. But let's get into today's video. So today is going to be all about my in-flight essentials. We're going through what food I eat, what I take with me on the plane food-wise. We're also going to go through skincare that I take with me, how I maintain clear skin on an airplane, just kind of like my savvy health conscious guide tips for in-flight travel. In-flight travel, is that a word? I don't know, but now it is. So this is the first video you're clicking on. This week I'm doing a whole series, Monday to Friday, every single day at 7 PM. There's a new video and the topic this week is all about how to stay healthy on holiday, how to maintain your healthy routine, whether it's like your hormone balance, your clear skin. But anyway, let's get straight into the video and get straight to the tips for in-flight travel. Yeah, we'll keep going with that word. Okay, so let's kick it off with talking about food and dietary needs and things like that when you're traveling. So for me, when I travel, it's always a pain because there's never an option to get gluten-free and dairy-free together. You either have to choose gluten-free or you have to choose like vegan or something like that, and it just never works out because you get a vegan meal and then it's filled with loads of like wheat and stuff which I can't eat. So it's always a mess for me and a struggle when I go on a plane. So first off, when you are picking your meal, I just say go for the one that is, you know, the strongest issue for you, and then just see kind of like what comes up. You never know, they might put on some kind of snack that does end up being dairy free or whatever you are as well. So yeah, do recommend doing that. You just need to be prepared. So when you go through passport control, basically the rule is you can take anything through as long as it's not a liquid or anything of the sort. If you wanted to take a sandwich, you can take some bread through just as long as it doesn't have like the spread on it, which I know could be a little bit dry, but it still fills a hole. Porridge is like the best thing ever to take away with you, especially when you're flying. I actually like to take these Ziploc bags, which I showed in like the first video, I believe. These are amazing because, like I said in that video, they kind of scrunch up to nothing and it just doesn't take up much room. But what I like to do is I take my porridge oats, pop them in here, then I put in chia seeds, maca powder, like my whole shebang, which I would normally have, maybe some nuts as well. And then I just take this with me because if you are in a situation where you're like, I'm starving, whether like you've done an overnight flight and you get there in the morning, there's nothing for you to eat for breakfast. If you are starving, you have some porridge oats and all you have to do is just pop them into like a little cup that you can get from them and then put some water with it and you have a meal. So it is the best thing to take with you. Obviously if you don't eat oats and you can't, then I'm really sorry about this tip, but if you can eat oats, then I really do recommend that. Like I said about the sandwich thing, I took some of my flaxseed buns. Now if you wanted the recipe for that, on my Instagram or like Instagram stories, I have a what I eat tab to show you like the kind of things I like to eat, and on there is the recipe for the flaxseed buns. But they're great. They're not vegan though, they do contain eggs and I don't really know how to go around that. Crisps are always good, nuts are always good. In the past I've also actually steamed vegetables and I've also taken like salads and things like that with me. Obviously you just can't get the dressing, but a little tip actually with doing that is you can always pre-make a salad, take that through with you without any of the liquid, and then when you get through into the airport, a lot of the little cafes and restaurants there will have salad dressings, so you can always just go and add a bit of salad dressing onto your food before you get on the flight. So that is another little trick there you can do. But yeah, anything that's not a liquid that you like to eat, you can take through with you, and I do recommend that you go prepared. When it comes to like little things, when it comes to like nuts or like for example fruit and stuff like that, I recommend just getting it at the airport because it just saves lugging it to the airport, and also they are things you can find really easy usually within airports. So yeah, leave those kind of things to when you get there, but the main meals take with you. Another tip is that if you're going to take for example some flaxseed buns or a salad or whatever, take them in Tupperware boxes, because trust me, those Tupperware boxes are going to come in so handy on your holiday, and I'll get into why in like the next couple of videos. Now another thing is that when you're at the airport, I 100% recommend getting some water. You get so dehydrated on a plane, so I always recommend at least 1 litre of water and just try and get through that on the plane. Especially on airplanes, you kind of need to drink more water than you normally would because honestly it just sucks everything out of you. When you're on the plane, do remind the flight attendants of certain allergies, because you know when they come around with their refreshments and they kind of give out like snacks and like nuts and crisps and stuff like that, sometimes there isn't stuff for you. Actually if you ask, they do have some stuff which is kind of put aside for people who have allergies. So when I was on the plane last, I said to them, oh I can't have these crisps or whatever because of like this, that and the other, and she was like, oh let me go get you a gluten-free option, and she came back and she brought me back some gluten-free crisps and also those, what are they Candy Kittens, that brand? I don't know, you know those sweets, you know, that's like healthier sweets. I mean, I don't actually eat sweets, so my boyfriend ended up eating them. I mean, it was a really nice gesture, and they do have them on the plane, so make sure you do ask as well, and don't be afraid to ask, because you still paid for that seat and you still have paid for your food as well, so you want to try, you know, use what you can on there. Oh, and another thing that's actually really handy to take with you is like snack bars, but even if you don't eat them, they're just handy to have in your bag just in case, because I always think as well, it's not even just on the flight, but when you get off that flight, depending on what time of day you're traveling, especially if you're doing like an overnight flight, you might wake up or like get off the flight and think, oh my god, it's breakfast, I'm so hungry, and there's just nothing in this airport that I can eat, especially if you're in like a foreign country. So it's really just handy to have them in your bag just in case. Okay, so another thing I highly recommend is take some tea with you. These are amazing. These come in disposable packages, and this is by Pucker. It's a 3 mint, and these are just great because, like I said, you can just rip them open, put them in, and just be done with it, chuck it away. And the reason why I want to mention taking tea on the plane with you is because it's just amazing to help your digestion on the plane, because I mean, we're going to be doing a whole video this week on holiday constipation. Oh, it starts on the plane. The plane is like what kicks off the constipation cycle. Have a bit of tea, like some peppermints, just to help ease the digestion, keep things functioning. Another thing is you can also take like a sleepy relaxing tea if you are on a night flight and you just want to relax, you know, things that you would normally have at home, just take with you, because it's just a bit of comfort, especially if you're on a plane, especially if you're not a great flyer as well. I find it's quite comforting as well. So yeah, really recommend these. Okay, so let's now talk about skincare. So this is my little pouch. Now these are absolutely fantastic. I got this one in Tiger, but you can get them anywhere. Like I know like Smith's, for example, do clear pencil cases. They're the same kind of thing, but these are great because you can pack them before you go, and then when you get to the airport you can just get it out. You don't have to go through all your stuff, you know, finding all your liquids. It's already done. Makes like going through the passport control and all the security so much quicker. So like I said, the airplane can just dehydrate the skin so much. You want to make sure you have good skincare on. Now first things first, I highly recommend you do not wear makeup on the plane. Like just give your skin a break on the plane, unless you're doing like a very short journey. If it's a long haul flight, 100% I recommend you wash your face and do your skincare before you get in the plane. Like when I get to the boarding gate, I go to the toilets there, do my whole shebang, get myself prepped and ready, get on the plane, and I'm like, feel good, do you know what I mean? So, oh, I'm so sorry if you can hear banging, but there's construction going on and I just can't escape it. By all means, you can wear makeup to the airport if you want to, but I just, like I said, recommend you taking it off before you get on the flight. So let's talk about skincare and what I like to take with me. So to be honest with you, I kind of take my normal skincare routine. I just downsize everything. So I take a little bit of micellar water in a little bottle, and this is fantastic, not only just to, you know, prep my skin before I cleanse it at the airport, but also when I come towards the end of the flight and I'm gonna get off, like I like to just clean my face a little bit, and then, you know, just maybe just freshen up with my skincare. So it's really handy to have some micellar water on hand. And the next thing I have is a little pot which I put my cleansing balm in, and yeah, just downsize it. You don't need to take the full like pot with you. This is what I use at the airport. I will take my Emma Hardy cloth as well, but I take it in a separate little like Ziploc bag and keep that in my bag, so then I can actually remove it with a cloth as well. Like I still keep everything the same. I have my moisturizers which are down here, so I have 2 of these, one for the day, one for the night, and I do also have a facial spritz. Now these are amazing on flights. This one in particular I love. It's by Pi. It's the Lotus and Orange Blossom by Affinity Skin Tonic. This I love because it really calms down the skin. If your skin feels like it's gonna, you know, react or inflame, this really stops it from doing that. So I find on a plane it's like a godsend, and also it helps hydrate my skin throughout the flight. And I think planes can also, like, it makes me just feel a bit groggy because it's like all this like recycled air and stuff, so it's just quite nice to like refresh, and this is definitely my favorite. When you go to hotels, definitely steal these. They usually give them in the bathrooms. They're like little pre-packaged cotton wool pads and like earbuds and stuff like that. I take these from all the hotels that I go to and I keep them, because when I travel I just pop one of those in there, and it's just so hygienic and so easy, and you know, you can just chuck it away when you're done with it. So really recommend that as well. So yeah, that is what I use on my skin, but that's just basically exactly the same routine that I have at home. If you want to see the products that I use a little bit more in depth, then I'll leave like my morning skincare, my evening skincare routine like listed below. Other things which help my skin is also the tea. I mean the spearmint tea that's in that mint Pucker tea bag thing. That's really great for my skin and really helps to keep my hormones balanced on a flight. And then the other thing that I do pay attention to is I try and eat more anti-inflammatory foods. I mean, I do that every single day of my life anyway, but especially on the plane, I'm very mindful. I try not to touch sugar when I'm on the plane, and I also try and just keep things very calming and anti-inflammatory where I can. I'm gonna be talking much more in depth on diet and touching on like my diet on a plane when I get to like my food video and digestion on holiday. Yeah, there'll be a couple more tips in that video this week, but just in general I do try and keep things anti-inflammatory, no sugar, and also, I mean, I'll just say it now, I actually do also keep my carbs and grains like to an absolute minimum. I think the oats is probably the only thing I would have. And then actually another tip that I have is the night before you fly, I recommend doing a cleansing mask, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like when I'm on a flight, if I'm gonna break out, it's more like existing breakouts seem to like want to come to the surface. So I find by doing a cleansing mask the night before I travel, it just kind of gives me a real fresh, clean like slate basically. My skin responds really well to that, so I do recommend maybe just doing a cleansing mask before you go, or maybe have like a bit of exfoliation, that kind of thing. And then just a couple of like lifestyle, I guess, wellness tips for in-flight. 100% invest in a good pair of earplugs, and also get an eye mask as well. I mean, usually they do give these out on the plane, but sometimes you just can't be sure. Some people like to have their window open and all that kind of stuff, and it just can be really distracting, all that bright light. So eye mask and earplugs are a must. Another thing I would take with you is a nasal stick. These are the ones you can pop up your nose and just breathe in, and it helps clear your airways. They're really great to take with you, so handy. And another thing actually is if you have trouble sleeping, I recommend taking a rollable oil, essential oil, which can help relax you. So I love, for example, the lavenders and like, you know, sandalwoods and stuff like that. And what I do is I kind of roll it on my pulses, roll it on like my pillow and stuff like that, and just kind of, you know, create this like little ambience going on. If you feel a little bit uneasy on the plane, then it's quite comforting. Oh, and another thing don't forget a pair of socks. No matter where you're going on a plane, it doesn't matter if you're going to the hottest country ever, planes seem to be a lot like colder like than the climate that you're expected to go to. Definitely take a pair of socks. I actually take a pair of those like fuzzy socks, and yeah, pop them on, because it really makes comfort so much better. And also I find your feet kind of like go weird on a plane, like they kind of swell a bit. I don't know if you know what I mean, like, I don't know, feet just go weird on a plane, I think. So yeah, a pair of socks is a must. Anyway guys, that is it for this video and all my in-flight tips for keeping healthy and all that jazz. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. So tomorrow's video is going to be the big one. It's going to be all about holiday constipation, which is such a real thing. And tomorrow we're going to go through everything about how to prevent it, what to do if you do suffer with it, and like tips to how to like ease it, just your digestion in general, and just keeping everything happy and functioning well on holiday. So anyway, that is tomorrow's video. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you click the subscribe button, or just be back here at 7 PM tomorrow, because that is the time I post my videos all this week. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know what your in-flight essentials are and what your tips are for keeping your skin clear on the plane. I would love to hear from you guys. I think it's really helpful as well, like hearing from other people in the comments and seeing what everyone else's tips are, like help each other out. So anyway, have a wonderful day guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.